92.9 The Lake, playing the greatest hits of all time, and we are very honored right now to be joined by the guitarist of Foghat, who's going to be at the Golden Nugget this Friday, 8:30 p.m. We still got tickets left, so be listening later on in the show for your chance to win. Mr. Bryan Bassett's with us. Mr. Bryan, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I am doing amazing. Can't wait to have you guys in town, and thank you so much for your time.
Oh, man, we're looking forward to getting down there and playing.
All right, so let's talk about your career as a whole, and then we'll get into Foghat. You have had an amazing career. You've played with three of the most well-known bands of all time, Wild Cherry, Molly Hatchet, and Foghat. How's the ride been?
It's been fantastic. You know, to have such a long career and get to make a living doing what you love to do, well, there's nothing better than that, really.
Exactly. And in 1989, you met Lonesome Dave. How did you guys meet up and become friends?
Well, it's funny. After Wild Cherry, I relocated to Florida. Wild Cherry was based up in western Pennsylvania and Ohio area. But I moved to Florida and got involved in recording studio as a producer, session guitar player, engineer with King Snake Records, which was a blues label down here. And I had a blues quartet. We used to play over in Orlando at some little clubs. And my friend Pat Travers, the great rock guitar player, brought Lonesome Dave to one of our shows. We sort of specialized in playing old Excello blues and some very obscure old blues tracks. Dave, being the blues historian that he was and a lover of American blues, knew just about every song we played. And we struck up a friendship, became best friends, and when he decided to tour again, he asked me to join him.
Right, and I saw in another interview that when he asked you, do you play a lot of slide guitar, you got to have to fib to get in there a little bit.
Well, you know, I think like if the actor says, sure, I ride horses all day long, and I get the movie role. Dave asked me, you do play slide guitar? I was like, oh, yeah, all the time. To pick up some Foghat records and really go do my homework.
Right, and speaking of Foghat records, in 1999, you had to replace Rod Price. And, you know, some of the quotes right here, Rod Price, known as the magician of the slide king of rock and roll. How much of a task was that?
Very big task, really. And funny enough, I think it was 1991 when I was playing with Dave. Rod Price joined us. We were, you know, a four-piece band, some Dave's Foghat. But Rod had been retired, but joined us for a European tour, and I got to be good friends with him. We played together nearly for a year. So I sort of had master classes with Rod every night. I mean, at that point, I was sort of a fifth wheel on the Cadillac. I mean, I didn't really have much to do, and luckily Dave didn't send me home. So we got to be friends, and, you know, I got to watch Rod play, and he was quite an amazing slide player, played with such passion and force. So really, most of my slide technique, I credit to him because I've studied his songbook for so long. And really, to play it is a challenge every night, and something even after all these years, I still work on and go back to the records and re-listen to them again.
We're talking with Bryan Bassett, the guitarist for Foghat. They're going to be live at the Golden Nugget this Friday, December 27th, 8:30 p.m. So got some tickets left to give away, so keep listening later on the show. We'll give you a chance to win. Now, speaking of touring, Wild Cherry, Molly Hatchet, with Foghat, you've toured the world many times over. Where's your favorite place to play? Like country, and take into account the crowds, the food, just the whole atmosphere.
Well, let me see, I'll start in Europe. We have played the Sweden Rock Fest a few times, and I just love that, going to that country, and that's one of the most well-organized rock festivals on the planet. It's a multi-day festival with dozens of bands, and they have it down to a fine science. And for me, it's like a paid vacation. It's just nice to travel somewhere you don't get to go to very often and experience the place. With Molly Hatchet, we were signed to a German record label, so we toured extensively through Germany and Central Europe. So that was always a blast. The big touring season in America is through the spring and summer. So we would spend mostly late fall and in the winter months over in Germany and Switzerland and, northern Italy, Belgium, and tour those countries, and it was beautiful. I love that. The audiences over there are a little different. They're not as boisterous as, say, American audiences get. They're more studious. They sort of stand there and look at you and wait for you to make a mistake, and so when you talk to them after, but they're very great music fans, and if they're a fan of your band, they really know a lot about you. And funny enough, a lot of the people I met over there were familiar with my King Snake recordings, which were very low level, not low level, but like low selling blues records. We were popular. Had a nice genre going, but I was surprised at how many Europeans were familiar with it. Of course, they were big fans of American blues, and so that was cool. So they were always very, musical discussions with artists over there and fans over there. And then, anywhere in America is always fun to play. We have a blast just going all over the country.
Right. The European fan base, I hear from everybody, is just so passionate. And the fact that I can't imagine being on stage in front of thousands upon thousands of people who speak broken to no English, but they're singing your songs in perfect English the whole show.
Yeah, that's always amazed me. Yeah, along with the fact, like, say, Lonesome Dave being from England had a steep British accent, and he would sing, like American lyrics. So, that's always fascinated me how someone could do that. And I have a lot of friends that have British accents, and they never lose them, but hanging out with people from Europe, all of a sudden my voice starts changing. I don't know why. I'd call my mother and go, "Hello, Mom."
Yeah, I got a friend who's living in Australia. He's been down there for 3 years, and he's finally starting to talk like an Aussie now.
Right, my mother's like, "You're from Pittsburgh. Come on." "Hello, Mom. How are you?" That was from hanging out with Dave all day long.
Now, speaking of tour and cuisine, obviously Louisiana, known for our Cajun cuisine. What's your go-to dish when you tour through Louisiana?
Oh, man, gumbo's got to be for me, and some jambalaya. So,
yes.
And I hit the seafood heavy, so that's be awesome.
Foghat's going to be at the Golden Nugget this Friday, the 27th at 8:30 p.m. Keep listening later on the show. Your chance to win some free tickets. Mr. Bryan, thank you so much for your time today. We enjoy the music. We can't wait to see you here in Lake Charles. And where are you guys touring after Lake Charles?
I think our next set of dates are on the West Coast. We head to California. We do a little bit of rehearsing and realigning the set in January, which we try to do every year because we have a lot of fans that see us multiple times, so we try to keep the set changing and interesting for our fan base. And then we hit the West Coast for 2 weeks, and then we just dartboard around the country after that.
That's what I'm talking about. Weather's always great on the West Coast, apparently.
Yeah, it sure is. And, all our tour dates as they come in, and they're just coming, our schedule's filling out now. Foghat.com has all the tour dates on it.
Very nice. Well, Mr. Bassett, thank you so much. Safe travels, and we'll see you Friday the 27th here in Lake Charles.
All right. It's holiday season. Everyone's going to be in a party mood. We can't wait to do it.